We could just sit here and watch that balloon all day, couldn't we, Mats? Well, welcome back to the morning show. It's coming up on 6:50. Time for our Wise Guy segment today. Matt Sellen is here, and we're talking about air pressure.
Right. Well, you know, last week we did blow some things up. We did things that you couldn't really do at home. So I wanted to do some stuff that you could do at home. Okay. And I was reminded of something that I played with when I was a kid. I had this toy, and it had this fan, and there was a balloon that was shaped like, it was supposed to be like a lunar lander, and you could, with these little joystick things, you could pivot the fan around, and you could land the lunar lander thing here and there, and it made me think that maybe I should explain how this works, because it's kind of interesting how this thing is kind of sitting on this sort of column of air.
It's like an invisible barrier there.
Right, and the thing that's amazing about it is that it doesn't fall off. I mean, if you grab this and try to balance it on your finger, it's just going to fall off to one side. Right, you have to kind of work to balance it there. You can probably do it, but it's not easy, right?
Right.
And here, this thing, it just kind of hovers. And in fact, you can move this thing around. I could pick this up.
The balloon will follow?
And I could tilt it over like this.
Oh, cool.
See, and it's kind of way over to one side, and it doesn't fall off at all. And so that's how my toy worked when I was a kid. I could land this little thing just by sort of cranking the fan down, and it hovers like that. And there's two things you need to know to explain this, and they're both kind of interesting. One is that...
Nice landing.
Yeah, wasn't that good? Okay, so there's a couple of things. One is that air pressure changes as the speed of the air changes, and the other one is that when air hits some object, it'll just kind of flow around it. And I can illustrate this real quick by lighting this thing up. This candle. I'm just going to hold this can between me and the candle, but I can just blow it out because the air kind of flows around the object, and it'll do that. And so I can illustrate. Let me ask you this. There's a little science quiz here.
Oh, boy.
I'm going to take these two cans. I'm going to put them on these straws so that they can move real easy. Okay. And I'm just going to blow air between them. Okay. What are they going to do, those cans, do you suppose? Are they going to follow?
They're going to go out. Well, they're going to go out.
Okay. So let's see what happens here.
That's what I said. They're going to come in.
Yeah. Okay, so it's not quite what you think. You think that the air would go in between there and shove them apart. But in fact, the air made them go together. Right. Okay, and the reason for that is wherever the air is moving faster, the pressure is lower. Okay. So this means there's lower pressure in the middle, higher pressure on the sides, and the things get pushed together. You can do it with just a single one, too. See how it gets dragged over, right. And we've seen this sort of effect before. If you have, watch this, if you have here's a glass of water with a little tube in it. If I just blow some air across the top of this tube, you'll see that the level of the water in this glass goes up.
Wow.
Okay, and that's the effect where if you're in a building and the wind is blowing by a window, the window tends to get pulled outward, and sometimes you hear about in big heavy winds in a big city, the windows in a high-rise will come falling out. Sure. And it's the same effect, and it's called the Bernoulli effect. Okay. And it has to do with the fact that wherever air is moving fast, the pressure is lower. And that's the same reason that an airplane flies. Okay. So you can do all kinds of neat stuff with this. Do we have a second?
We have about 30.
Okay, that's good. So I want you to look at this because this is fascinating. So here we have this funnel. Okay. Put this ball in it, and I blow as hard as I can. The ball doesn't come out. Okay, in fact, I'm going to blow as hard as I can and turn this upside down.
Oh.
Okay. So and I wasn't sucking there either. I wasn't faking it, okay? And so what happened is the air was being blown out of this thing really fast, but somehow the ball was being pushed in, and it's the same exact thing. The air, as it goes out, it follows the sides of the funnel, so the air flows along the outside of this cone. The pressure then is lowest around the outside. The pressure right here is high because the air is not moving, and so the air pressure just keeps this thing from falling out.
That's pretty neat.
And you can do stuff like this at home with just a ping pong ball and a straw.
Very cool. All right, while Mats is doing that, we're going to go to Jennifer now, and we'll be back in 30 minutes with more air pressure. Jennifer.
Thanks, Rob. It is 6